Hello everyone, and harasiming ke irini, grace to you and peace. In this video we're going to answer the question, should Christians have debt? Let's start out by looking at Romans 13:8, which reads in the Greek. Mηδενὶ μηδέν ޮφείλετε ή μη το ἀλλήλους ἀγαπᾶν, όγαρ ἀγαπῶν τον ἕτερον, νόμον, πεπλήρωκεν. Owe nothing to anyone except to love one another, for he who loves his neighbor has fulfilled the law. The first thing to notice here is that we have the same word repeated twice, mηδέν, meaning nothing, no one, not even one. In modern Greek, this is the word for zero. The first occurrence of mηδέν is in the dative case, and then the second is in the accusative case, so to no one, nothing. The next word is the present active imperative second person plural of the verb ὀφείλω, meaning to owe or to be indebted to. Thus we have to no one, owe nothing. Or in better English, owe nothing to anyone. And note that this is in the imperative mood, the mood of command. Next we have the one and only exception to this command, except to love one another. The word for one another is ἀλλήλων in the accusative masculine plural, and a synonym for ἀλλήλων is then given in the second part of the verse, ton ἕτερον. Another way of expressing this in the Greek is found in the next two verses, Romans 13:9 and 10, ton πλησίον, meaning neighbor. So therefore, there is only one debt that the believer is to have, and that debt is a debt to his neighbor. And Jesus taught in the parable of the Good Samaritan that our neighbor is anyone with whom we come in contact. And the debt that we owe to our neighbor is ἀγαπάω, repeated twice in this verse. This is Christian love. The love of God is in John 3:16. For God so loved, ἀγαπάω, the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And in 1 John 4:19, we love ἀγαπάω because he first loved ἀγαπάω, us. Therefore, as Christians, whenever we come in contact with anyone, we're coming in contact with our creditor, someone to whom we owe the debt of agape love. And the second thing to notice here is that if we are only to have one debt, agape love to our neighbor, then we should not have other debts, obviously. The word ὀφείλω in the Greek means not only debt in a metaphorical sense, but also debt in a literal sense, i.e., monetary debt. And you can see that in the context of the flow of Romans 13, monetary debt is certainly in view. For example, in the previous two verses, verses 6 and 7 of Romans 13, taxes are being mentioned. Thus, the Christian should not have monetary debt, which the scripture views as a curse, as in Deuteronomy 15:6. For the Lord your God will bless you as he has promised you, and you will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow. And compare this to the curse in Deuteronomy 28:33 through 34. The alien who is among you shall rise above you higher and higher, but you will go down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you will be the tail. Therefore, borrowing is considered a curse, while lending is considered a blessing. So if you're a citizen of the United States, as I am, you're living in a cursed nation, unfortunately. A nation with $16.5 trillion in debt. 16.5 trillion being a number so large that it may as well be infinity. For example, if you spent $1 million a day since Jesus was born, you still would not have even spent 1 trillion by now, let alone 16.5 trillion. Thus, as believers, we should avoid monetary debt, as it's actually a form of slavery, as it says in Proverbs 22:7. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower becomes the lender's slave. Therefore, if you're a believer and you have monetary debt, I would encourage you to get out of debt as quickly as possible. Get on a program such as Dave Ramsey's excellent program. I just would encourage you that no matter how you decide to get out of debt, just decide to do it. Make a decision to do it, and from personal experience, I can tell you that the Lord will honor that decision, and you will be able to get out of debt much more quickly than you ever thought you would be able to, because the Lord does not want us in debt. And He will, if you make that decision as a matter of doctrinal principle, He will give you resources that you never dreamed that you would get quicker than you ever dreamed you could get them. And He will honor that decision to get out of debt. And if you don't have debt, then good for you, and I encourage you to continue to remain out of debt. Thank you, and Evcharisto.